Hey guys, we're going to be doing a complete axle, doing a 60 front end rebuild. This is a kingpin style, so this one's out of a 78 Ford, 8 lug, yada yada yada. You probably already know something about it if you're watching this video. Yeah, already got this side taken apart. I'm going to take this side apart and we'll assemble that part, and should be completely versed in how these go together and come apart when you're all done. I'm going to start with taking these studs off. They're all 14 millimeter. My hands are a little full, so it's hard to show, but this cap right here does come off. You just have to kind of stick some screwdriver behind it, pry it a little bit, rotate it, pry it a little bit, and it comes off. Once that cap is off, you'll see that this is the end of your axle, and there's a little C-ring on there, or a snap ring. So you're just going to want to pop that off with some snap ring pliers, or regular pliers, or whatever you happen to come up with. Now, with the snap ring removed, this puck will just slide right off. Okay, maybe not right off, but pretty easily. Now looking inside, you can see there's a big old nut in there. A lot of people use like crazy screwdriver tricks where they chip everything up and make a mess and damage the nut, and that's cool if you like doing that kind of thing, but that's not really my style. So I bought a 2.5 inch 6-point nut socket. It doesn't seem totally universal what Dana uses. I know my rear axle has a rounded hex 2 and something. It's weird. It's a weird size, so I don't know if it's universal across all of them. But anyways, you're gonna take this guy, slip him on there, and twist him off. You might have a crush washer or something like that, or something in the way. In this case, there's nothing there. It's just straight to nut. This guy out, you're going to see that there's a tabbed washer back there. Sometimes the tabs are folded down to keep everything in place, and sometimes people forget to fold the tabs down, so just pop it out with a screwdriver. Behind that, there's another nut. You're going to throw the socket on there and twist that guy off. With both nuts out, you should be able to just pop the hub right off. It might take a little bit of prying. I use my pry bar on stuff. I'm prying in between the brake disc and the mount for the caliper. So I just pry a little bit, you see it slides right off. Now we got the hub off. You can see the spindle. There's all these bolts right here. To take that off, you got your dust shield. Other stuff. I'm going to pound the studs out of here and show you how to do that real quick. Step 1, if you got time, get some penetrating oil, nuts off, or PB Blaster, or whatever you like, and spray all these guys, front and back side, and let it sit for at least 15 minutes. I mean, if you got time, give it a day, you know. So I had this sitting for a while, penetrating oil. I'm going to hit it with this torch, and then hopefully it'll just break free with a little bit of tough love. So when you're pounding these out, if you can, use a rubber sledge or something like that, because you don't want to mark the ends of them up to the point that you won't be able to thread, you know, your tires back on. They put extra material. They put extra material on these on the top before the thread, and it's for exactly the reason that if you do have to mash on them with a steel sledge or something like that, you can get them out. Mine were particularly hard. I've pounded them out of other hubs before, and they come right off just with a simple rubber mallet. So it's just a matter of how old your truck is, probably, and what climate you live in. But anyways, once all these come out of these holes, this guy will just lift right off. It's pretty heavy, but it comes off. And then I would just buy a new disc, but you're already here, just buy a new one. But if that's not your style, you can get it resurfaced or just leave it or whatever. And yeah. Now when you remove the hub from the axle, the inner wheel bearing should have just fallen right out. That's the outer wheel bearing. The inner wheel bearing is back here. There's this guy, some steel ring, and it's a little bit harder to get out. This piece right here is the seal that holds it in. That's the bearing. In my case, I know that I don't really care about the integrity of the bearing, so I'm just going to pound it out with a hammer. Yeah, if you're trying to pull the bearing out for some reason but also don't want to replace it, then I'm sure you can find a more intelligent way to do it than I did. The big thing is you're going to flip it over and find something long, like this guy, and pound on it until it comes out. You don't want to set this surface right here on something, or else you're just going to be pounding against the table or whatever. So I set it in this bench vise, and then the bottom's not making contact with anything, and I can pound it right out. So I got it in the bench vise. See, there's no contact with the bottom. I'm going to take my big old stick, stick it in there, and you can see you can set it on the wheel bearing. You will damage the wheel bearing doing this. So this implies that you're gonna replace it. There's a better shot with my LED on. You still can't really see what's going on in there, but anyways, just set something on it and beat the hell out of it. Got her out. Now when you do this, you're gonna want to pound on one side and then flip to the other and kind of work it out in a circle instead of just nailing it out of one side, because it is a pretty tight fit. Back to these nuts that are on your dust shield. These are all coming off with a 19 mil. They're on there pretty tight, so I had to use a pretty big breaker bar. So I'll knock all these off real quick, and then we'll get to the next part. Once you get all these nuts off and washers, got 6 of them right there. Take this dust shield off, set that aside, and then this guy will come off. And this is the piece that holds your brake caliper? I don't know. I'm disoriented. I think that's it. So let me pull this guy off. And now, I don't really remember what's next. We'll figure it out. So now to get this spindle off, you are going to have to tap it off or pry it off. You'll see that the way the knuckle is shaped here gives you a nice little ridge to smack on. So I'll just give her a little love tap. You'll see she starts to slide forward. Really you don't need to pound it off all the way. You just kind of need to get it to that point where it's loose, and then you can just grab the thing and slide it off. Ta-da! So I'll set this guy off to the side.